Alright, this is the Get Psyched YouTube channel, and today we are doing a home studio tour, kind of a part 2. I haven't done this on this channel before, but I did it on an old channel of mine at my old apartment, and I'm redoing it today because I've moved apartments and my home studio has changed a good bit since I did the last one. Well, not really, actually. It's almost the exact same, but this space is bigger. I've been able to utilize my tools a lot differently, and I do have a few upgrades on this one, so I thought it'd be kind of nice to do an update. It is my goal every time I move to try and upgrade and make my space even better than the last. So I think that I did that here. I think the space is way better than the last one, so I'm just gonna get right into it. Like I said, a good bit has changed between that setup and this setup. The biggest of which being this PC right next to me. Although I still have the same microphones and interface, which I'll get into in a second, my PC is an entirely new beast that basically completed the setup for me. At least personally, this was what I always saw as being the completion to my home studio. So now I don't have to rely on my laptop all the time. I have a dedicated setup at home. It's always here. I don't have to, worry about if my laptop malfunctions or anything because I always have this as backup. And it's kind of nice, not kind of nice. It's amazing having the laptop and this setup because I have had plenty of weeks where the MacBook storage is full and I can't do anything on that, so I have to rely on this. And I've had this thing malfunction a couple of times, sadly, and I've always been able to go back onto my laptop for that. So it's really nice to have this kind of setup going. They each have different kind of software, so I can't always do the exact same thing on one that I could do on the other, but for most purposes, they substitute well for each other. It's a really nice thing to have, having this dedicated setup here. It's amazing. And the coolest part about it is, I built this PC, and I thought that would be a very expensive thing to do whenever people told me, you should try building your own PC. I thought it would be an incredibly expensive and out of reach thing. I didn't think, because I don't really know much about computers, that would be something I could do, but you can learn how to do anything on the internet these days. So with the help of PC Part Picker and a few friends, I was able to build this guy. If you're interested, I'll actually link my PC Part Picker below. The setup, the tower itself, I think was only around $700, and the entire setup came to about $1,200. My website link says a little differently, but I didn't put everything that I bought in there. But it's pretty accurate as far as what's in the setup. But yeah, I named her Persephone. She's fantastic. I used to have 2 screens here, but I don't know what happened. One monitor no longer works for me. So I'm back down to a single setup, but I actually really, really like that. The minimal desk setup has been so nice. My desk used to be really overcrowded. I do have studio speakers that, much like a lot of my music equipment right now, is kind of put away until I get into that kind of work again, because it just took up so much desk space, and I think having the minimal setup is it's really good for productivity. But yeah, that's basically the difference. I built this PC here. I actually did build it in this apartment. When I moved in here, I had just started buying pieces for it, and so I was getting pieces at the office, just about every day I was getting a new piece. And when I finally got all the pieces together, I built this sucker. I haven't even had it a whole year, but it's pretty fantastic. It's been life-changing having this set up for creative work. So I still have all the old stuff. Basically, I didn't get rid of anything that I had. I'm still recording this on my Nikon D3200. My microphone is still the Audio-Technica AT2020. I do have a Shure SM57 still as well, although I don't really tend to use that one quite as much. This one is so convenient, it fits on my desk, and that's that. The only improvement I've made on my mic so far is that I now use this sock, or any sock, as a pop filter, because I still don't have a pop filter, but for me, it seems to work perfectly fine. I don't really see the need in buying a pop filter when a sock does the job, so that's that. This desk is actually so sick. My roommate let me borrow it from her, and so my PC's down here in this little cubby, and then on the cubby right above it, I have my interface, and in that interface, it is a Focusrite Scarlett Solo. Still have the same one as before. I can only hook one mic up at a time, but it does the job. And then I also keep my headphones down here for my work. These are also Audio-Technica, but these are the ATH M50Xs. Fantastic. They have all of my equipment, and I'm really, really happy about this, because in my last update, like I said, this was all, just about everything I bought was within the $100 range or a little less. I bought some of it used. You can get more information on that from the other video. I'll make sure to link that, but they've all held up. Even the used stuff, the stuff I bought on eBay, these brand new headphones, which just really aren't that expensive considering how good they are, they've all held up over time. So I still have all of the same equipment. Everything's black, which is cool because it ends up matching. The interface is red, but it looks really sick because my PC is mostly black, but it has like a red light, so everything just kind of matches. That was not on purpose, but it's a nice touch. I still have all of my instruments, of course. I didn't get rid of any of my instruments. I still have my acoustic, my ukulele, my electrics and all that, but everything's kind of put away in a sense. Like the acoustics are out and open for me to practice with whenever I want, but all the electrics, all of my amps, all of my cords and everything, they are under the bed or in my storage trunk because at the moment I'm not focused on making music like I was when I made my last channel. My last channel was solely dedicated to like music and making guitar covers and all that. I'm not really doing that right now. It's not my focus. It is something I'd like to get back into, and I'm pretty excited because I'm planning to make another guitar cover soon. But for now, all that stuff is kind of hidden because I want to focus my efforts in other things. I've been working on my podcast for WKNC and working on writing blog posts, and now I'm starting to make these videos, so all my focuses are going into those three things. The software that I have, the way that I set up my room is kind of adapt to that kind of stuff. I'm still not 100% certain all the content that I'm going to come out with on this channel. I don't know how everything's going to be and what the exact plan is. If it'll be all music or if it'll be mostly something else, I don't know. I love a lot of things. And as you'll see from, I'm putting in clips of my room in here. Like, I have a lot of workout equipment. I love working out. I got NASM certified last year, and that was really exciting. So there could be videos about that kind of stuff. I'm not going to exploit On Hell any further, but that is the second largest change to my home studio, is that now I have a leopard gecko living in my studio, which I couldn't have had before. I lived in a much smaller apartment, but he's fantastic. He definitely took up all the space though. That this computer setup used to be over there where On Hell is, and he also has my mic stand, so it works out in the end because having this nice little setup has made me do a lot more focused work and really get things done for once, which is nice. Other big changes, not really that big of a deal, but it's something I was super excited about moving in here, was setting up my bookshelf. I absolutely love reading, and I just didn't have space for it in any dorm I've ever lived in. So now that I have my bookshelf here, I do get a lot of reading done. That's really mostly it. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. This room does feel a lot busier in a sense than my old apartment. There's a lot more going on. It's very interactive. I don't get that bored here, but anyhow, that's basically the studio. But I just want to talk software real quick because I got really, really lucky recently, and so I've been able to use good software right now. I'm kind of in this in-between phase where I'm trying to decide if I want to stick with Adobe forever. It is expensive software, and I'm not paying for it right now, but I have learned how to use Premiere, Audition, and Photoshop really well. So when all of this started in the world, NC State, since we had to leave campus, decided to give licenses to people who really needed them to complete their school or their job. And because of my job doing a lot of creative work, I do the podcast, I do videos, I do blogs, and I edit pictures, I was able to get one of those temporary licenses. And so I'm going to lose it pretty soon, the free license. But those softwares have been life-changing for me. Like, I'm using Audition right now. I've made all of these videos using Premiere Pro, and the Photoshop is amazing. I have an old version of Photoshop on my laptop, but the new version is just mind-blowing how good it is. So I am kind of considering it, but it is a very expensive investment, so I don't know for sure yet. But that software has been really nice. I also have Audition, which is just good for simple, quick, easy projects. I do still have, I paid for a Reaper license a long time ago. I still have that. That's good for music making. I still have Ableton Live Lite, which is really nice as well. So I have good software going with this setup. It's just a matter of if I'm going to decide to buy that. But everything else in the setup is basically a decent budget setup. I like to think it's been built up over the years. I talked about this in my old video. I've built all this up over years and years of acquiring all of this stuff. So it's just really nice to have finally put the last touch on this with the PC. And then down here, this is the last thing I forgot to mention, is I keep all of my current tools down there. I have my MIDI keyboard. That's another piece of my equipment I have. I have my drawing tablet. It's Huion. I don't know how to say that. That was also $100. So was the MIDI keyboard. Down there I also keep whatever relevant notebooks that I use at the moment to write in, plan videos. Usually my writing is just for songwriting and for personal purposes, and I'm also practicing Spanish right now, so my workbook's down there. So it's an efficient setup to have a very clear desk space and just be able to grab anything I need right next to me. like I said, the stuff I'm not using right now is all in storage, so there's like plenty of guitars and amps under my bed. I just wanted to end this off by saying that I really love this space. It is, in my opinion, the nicest place I've gotten to live so far. It's just a bigger room. I have more space to organize my stuff, and that's been very, very helpful for a home studio. Being so crammed in a small space, like living on campus and all, it was very hard to build like an ideal setup, and I think that this is a great setup. I'm really grateful to have this setup here, and I can't wait to move somewhere else and see how I can advance it further. I really would love to minimize my setup a lot. I think I have way too much stuff, although I use all of it. Like I didn't even put everything in this video. Like there's skateboarding gear and other stuff. There's my art gear for like drawing and all that. Like I use all of these things, but I think it'd be very nice to minimize down on it. So my plan for the future, and what I hope my next setup video will be when I move into a next apartment, will be something more focused on whatever it is I choose to do. A very tight, neat setup, not too fancy. I don't plan to upgrade any of this equipment anytime soon. Like I said, the only thing I'm contemplating at the moment is if I should buy that software for myself after the fact when my free trial sort of through NC State ends. But otherwise, I don't plan to upgrade anything. I just want to pull back, minimize on this, make it a very focused setup, and get some real work done. Having this desktop setup has been fantastic for my work, and I feel like when I was writing, I got up every morning really excited to get on the PC, and I would sit there and write. I would write for like an hour every morning before classes. I was pretty dedicated at the time to getting up extra early just to write, and I don't do that anymore, but it was very helpful. So I'm still trying to find what exactly I'm going to use this whole studio for after I graduate in a couple months, but we'll see. I just wanted to add that in. But that's my home studio. And if you've watched this far, thank you for watching. Yeah, until next time, let's stay psyched about music. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're interested.